How are you doing today? I've been speaking on mindset. That's been my core activity and core agenda during my daily live sessions on weekdays because I give you a break on Sunday, like we did yesterday and day before, and also I take a break for 2 days, and again start off on Monday. So I've been speaking of mindset, and mindset, in my understanding, is the way we are perceiving the reality, the way we are connecting the dots and thinking to establish the cause and effect, the way we are either deciding by the gut or intuition or by assessing the benefits and effort, and finally the way we are acting with consistency and conviction. And I've been asking you to do a small exercise to start understanding what mindset is and how mindset can be changed by speaking to your friends, neighbors, colleagues, or relatives on their perceptions of the post-COVID lockdown, people-to-people interactions, and what your imagination or assumptions of their perceptions would, and try to compare the two, find out the commonalities and the differences, and start a dialogue to establish a common collective mindset. I'm not sure if you've been doing that. If you could do that, if not, please try it. I'll again repeat it at the end of my 15 minutes live session, and that's something which is going to really give you the idea of what mindset is all about. I spent the last 2 days in trying to do a video. I'll be sharing that in social media later in the evening today. You can have a look. I kept on really wondering, why is it that mindset was so important to me compared to doing anything else as an engineer, as an executive in a world-class company with outstanding systems and outstanding procedures, policies, which is extremely rational, extremely analytical. Why the hell is mindset important? And for that, I thought through and then understood and realized that the fundamental commonality in all the assignments I did was the mindset. Only because the people could change the mindset was there a change in the entire performance of that particular company. Today, I was watching a testimonial from a client of mine, a small company, and that reminded me to share one thought to you, which is what I'll start with today, and later end by talking about the purpose as a driver for the mindset. In this company, we were having I always do the doHow. I don't talk about that during the evening sessions, but my core source of all this, which I've been explaining and speaking to you, is my doHow and doHow sessions, which I conduct. doHow is a invention which I've done for changing mindset. But of course, today that is not the objective of me talking live. It's basically to share my thoughts and my experiences on changing mindset, which can be beneficial to others. So in this company, we were doing the doHow session, and then after the first 2 or 3 sessions, it was once a week. I think the third week it was, and then generally people would develop accountability when you're talking about doHow, because you're trying to express what you are doing within your circle of influence for achieving a particular objective when it is a company. And when you do that, then within 3 weeks, you really can't bullshit around. You need to be quite clear and serious of what you're telling and what you're doing. Otherwise, you get pressurized by yourself. As an individual, I would get pressurized by myself because I'm telling something which is not in sync with what I'm doing. I can't continuously keep lying in front of people. At some point of time, the pressure builds up. So this is what happened. And then they said that, look, a lot of things have changed. I said, now let us talk about what have been the favorable outcomes and the adverse outcomes which you have seen in the last week. And they all listed talking about the favorable outcomes as people have improved the accountability. When they come to meetings, they come prepared so that we can conduct the meeting much faster, and that the commitments are held up. So accountability is again increased. People go out of their way to make sure that their part of the contribution in our overall team success is much more efficiently done than what it was being done earlier. Again, directing to improvement in effectiveness and efficiency of the teams, etc., etc., etc. And then they said there is one adverse effect which we have seen, which is quite challenging. I said, what is the adverse effect? Adverse effect was that they've been trying to explain whatever they experienced in the doHow, because this was done for a small company. I said they were about 120, I think. And out of that 120, we were addressing only about 12 people. 12 people are the main drivers in that company, and maybe 14, I would say. 12, 14, including the workshop in charge, etc., and the team leads. So these guys, it's a production company, by the way. So these guys, they said that, look, we have been trying to explain to them whatever we have experienced, but then all our team leaders and cell leaders are not convinced in whatever that we have been telling them. So it's been a very tiresome activity. And then I said that, look, let's just think about it. It's absolutely no point in convincing. Nobody can convince anybody. It's only each one of us can convince ourselves with the limited amount of conscious intervention which we can do to our mind. A majority being subconscious, a big majority. I would imagine some say that it is more than 95 to 99% of our brain's capacity is subconscious. Just about between 1 and 5% is the conscious capacity which we have got. In that capacity, we need to also try to understand and convince ourselves that that's the right way of doing it. That's what changing mindset is all about. And they said they're not getting convinced, so we've been trying to do everything. Then I explained to them my understanding of mindset and my understanding of the subconscious and my understanding of how predictions are being done by the subconscious, which is all there in the video which I'm going to share later in the evening. You can have a look. And also I've spoken about that in the evening live sessions too. This is mainly about the readiness potential and our subconscious being working continuously in real time to do predictions. So since the predictions are being done, and these predictions are something which is extremely important. See, it's really phenomenal. Once you have allowed the subconscious to work, right now I'm not consciously thinking anything. And whatever I've been thinking, speaking to you is extempore. I'm not prepared anything. There is no text or written speech in front of me, but it just flows. And that's the power of subconscious. I'm not really sure where it is coming from. I'm not thinking. So that's something phenomenal. The power is unlimited. I really get very excited. So pardon me for speaking on that. So these guys, they said. Then I said that, look, there is a constant preparation going on and prediction going on, and mainly to help you survive. Mind is not really doing anything else. It's only trying to help you survive, trying to help you ensure that your next generation survives. That means you have continuity in your species. And the third is that you feel belonged to a race or to a group or to a team, so that you have somebody to lean on in case there is a problem. And the fourth is because you want to do something of a greater good to the society. When none of these are being addressed, when you're talking about explaining and sharing your experiences, they definitely will not get convinced. Is what I said. When they say that, look, there is a problem, then you please explain to them. Absolutely fine. That is very natural of you. In fact, if you had not done that, then I would have imagined that you are intentionally doing it. Since you are not intentionally doing that at all, you really don't have any control at all. Your subconscious drove you to say, no, I can't do it. Because your mind has never been experienced to doing something of that kind in the past. Therefore, it thinks that that particular way of doing it is not going to take me to success. Brain and mind are only trying to help you to succeed. They are not trying to help you to fail. Survival is not failure. Survival is success. Survival is a very, very great example of success, an outstanding example over the billions of years of success. So that's what the mind is doing. It's only trying to make you succeed. So if that is the case, why should you feel irritated? Why should you feel hurt? You thank them for the reaction which they had, and then once you do that, then automatically a lot of things calm down, and you start explaining more calmly once again. So this is what I explained to them, and having done that, they went back, and within 3 weeks, the problem of resistance was not there at all, because people try to understand that, look, I'm not trying to bulldoze anything to you. I can't do that at all. I may be doing that. I may think that I'm a great mentalist. I'm able to brainwash you, but that is all. It's not reality at all. You can't really get brainwashed. I may have brainwashed you in this particular moment by hoodwinking you, by trying to create some kind of a magical trick, and within no time you bounce back, because your subconscious is much more stronger. It will definitely bounce back. It says that, look, what you have done is wrong. Have you had any times an occasion where you thought you had decided, where you went to buy, let us say, a very simple item? You went to buy a TV. I'm sure each one of you would have done that, or maybe a mixie, or maybe as small as buying a clock, a watch as a gift, whatever that you wanted to buy. You went there and saw that it was very nice, and you came back home, and on the way you started thinking that, look, will that really work out? maybe some problem is there. Because at that moment when you went there, the salesman was so outstanding that you are really mesmerized by listening to him or her, and then thinking that it's a great thing to do. And after that, within no time, you bounce back. Your subconscious says that, look, what you did was wrong. It is not going to help you in survival. So you got two choices. One is you could either go back to them and say that, look, I'm not interested in buying. Number two is don't go back at all. And number three is still go and purchase because you felt that you're going to do it in any way. How many of you do all the three? Just ask yourselves. Majority would don't go back at all. That is what the subconscious suggests. Because our world has become like that. There is no value for human beings. If suppose I had spoken to him that I'm going to come back, it's my bloody duty to go back and tell him that, look, I don't want. Is it not some kind of a simple value? I keep talking. I used to talk about this with my teams. Anyway, now I tell that to clients and more so with my teams because I'm sure how many of you have had a phone and then phone keeps ringing and you don't take the phone call at all? Have you done that? Now, you should be really blessed that somebody is interested in calling you. And you can say that, look, I've got 20,000 calls. You're absolutely fine, 20,000 calls in a day. But why? Because you have created a situation like that. You want somebody to keep calling you for some information, some help or something of that kind, because you have, as an intellectual human being, have not been able to put in a system that would function automatically so that their needs are met. And that smartness is what is required when you have to design systems, right? So that you don't really become dependable. And when somebody calls you up, is it not right on our part to pick up the phone? Majority don't do that. Anyway, that's a different story. I'll talk about that on a different day. So once this understanding happened, once the mindset of the people in the doHow workshop changed, automatically the entire company changed. And he was mentioning that, look, in our company now, everybody are fully working beyond their limits. We had never imagined what the limits were. They're going out of the limits to fulfill the commitments and orders that we have to meet. And that's a good thing. So that was a nice recent testimonial which I watched. Now, as I come to the end of today's 15-minute session, I go back to purpose. Now, there are a lot of people who debate that the purpose of a company should not be to make money. Purpose should be something beyond making money. This is something which is quite exciting because for the guy who is running the company, who invested in a company, definitely has some idea. For example, my purpose is to really create exceptional leaders and world-class companies. How can I do that? I do that by talking to you on video now. I do that by going to customers and consulting and coaching them, conducting doHow workshops, various activities I do, but my main purpose is that. But I cannot forget about money, can I? Because I also need to have a livelihood. So when you talk about the purpose, people only talk about the holistic purpose is to create exceptional leaders and world-class companies. And mind you, in business, just having a purpose of that kind will not really ignite everybody and will not really create a mindset of performance, mindset of goal orientation with everybody, because everybody know that just by talking and having a purpose of creating world-class companies and exceptional leaders will not really help me live my lifestyle. Imagine if you had in your purpose one of the statements which said that we are going to give a better than best in class earnings and lifestyle to all our employees. Would that be something bonding? Of course, we want to do that. That's our main activity. But our purpose is also to ensure that all people who are associated with us have a better than the best in class earnings and lifestyle. When that happens, then automatically the mindset in that organization naturally gets inclined towards supporting the core purpose, which is to create world-class companies and exceptional leaders. Otherwise, I'm trying to see what best way I can cut corners, I can do this, I can do that to make sure that my livelihood is ensured and that my earnings are protected. So what do people do to get the earnings protected? They go in search of new jobs, or they always want to get a promotion. So when they do that, they are basically spending a good amount of time in trying to find out what they can do in the future, because they don't know how it's going to happen, and that's something which I thought I'll share at the end of this video. And before I close, again, I talk to you to request you to please do this exercise of talking to your friends, neighbors, colleagues, or relatives on their perceptions of the people-to-people interactions post-COVID lockdown, and what your assumptions and thoughts are on their perceptions. Find out the commonalities, find out the differences, and start a dialogue to develop and evolve a collective common mindset. So with that, thanks a lot for watching. For those of you in India, have a nice evening. And for those of you outside India, have a great day ahead. See you tomorrow.